had a chance to look at the website in the last couple of days. Did you see the Brian's instructions to captains?
I was going to compliment him. I think it's one of the greatest things I've read. It was
No,
absolutely on the money.
I spoke to Brian about it tonight and said the same thing. I know, please go to the site, have a look at it, because at the end of the year, people say, oh, the captains did this, the captains did that. No. But there's very clear instructions to captains about how they're to assess us. Now, we can't ever change what captains think of us. But if you know what they've been instructed, you know that they've been given even, consistent instruction, it's a huge thing. And congratulations, Brian, it's a fantastic thing.
Thank you.
Best thing that we've had in this area, I think, since I've been umpiring. So well done.
Thank you. Good.
Neil, can I just add that that's also gone out to all the clubs, so the clubs should have passed that on to their catchments in all of them.
Thanks, Jeff. Yeah. I thought it was very... so please go to the site, please look at it. It's very clear and it provides a fair and even basis for assessment. So I'm sorry, Brian, over to you.
No, perfect. Thank you. Good evening, guys. Great to see you all here. Welcome back, Neil. Lovely to see you back, mate. Neil Daly's come back after umpiring. Bill Finnegan's been away a few weeks. Name has been doing, Bill. Bit of fishing, but welcome back. Good to see you. Just straight after the meeting, please, can I see Peter Frencham and Warren Pump? Is Warren here? Beautiful. Warren and Peter Frencham, just come and see me. Very cool. We'll get through this fairly quickly. Last Saturday, who experienced a bit of a black day and a bit of lightning and caused some concerns?
Yep.
Right, okay. In speaking of the captains, one of the things that happens is they believe, this is not across the board, but some captains believe that umpires were talked into by those teams that have made a high score to stay out on the ground. Here's a clear directive. You come off the ground if you believe there's any danger whatsoever to anybody on that ground. What concerns me, and I saw it at Oakley on Saturday, and I was delighted, I was with young Patrick Matthews, and he came up to me straight away, saw some lightning, great concern, real strong initiative, which was great. But when I look back, when we were starting to walk off the ground, and lightning was starting to come around, what is it the clubs used to put their cutters down?
Steel pegs.
Steel pegs. Yeah. Right, with lightning around. How dangerous is that, or could be? So we want to try and understand the whole mechanism of what we're doing. So do not let anyone sway you one way or the other. Get together, you see lightning, make a judgment call. I know it's a judgment call how far away it is, could be way out of way, it could be getting closer, but make sure if you believe it's dangerous to anyone at all, then you'd err on the side of caution and get off the ground. Do not take a risk. Yes, Peter?
When do you go back on?
When do you go back on? When would you think you'd go back on, Peter?
5 minutes, 10 minutes.
If you think it's subsided and it's gone and everything's rosy to go back on, no problem. But it's always, you take that risk, so you've got to make sure you know exactly what you're doing. It's an unknowns to us. We can't play God. Yes?
Isn't it 30-30, Rob? You see lightning...
30 seconds.
30 seconds.
Yeah, you can do that. If that's how you sum it up, that's fine. But as long as you make sure that whatever you're doing, I won't tell you how to do it, but just make sure you've got to make a good judgment call. If you think it's dangerous, get off. We don't want anyone to get struck by lightning. There also the email I sent out, which I really want to thank Dr. Hart about the above waist full toss for a slow bowler. Okay, so we've changed that. So everyone should have received that. I think that's up on the website now, Jeff. So Dr. Hart and all your committee, really thank you, the Rules Committee, for doing that. We'll assess it at the end of the season and give feedback where we think it's going to go. So I appreciate that. That's also been sent out to the clubs. I hope all the captains have got it. I don't know. So anyway, basically what it is, Brendan, above the waist full toss for a slow bowler. Under the law now, it was if you did it twice, but you're off. So that won't be the case unless it's deemed to be dangerous. In other words,
that's another common sense prevails.
Correct, yeah, so, which is great. Now, a couple of things from captains' feedback. I've spoken to a few umpires, but I've spoken to a lot of captains. Captains are two things, and I've spoken to a couple of umpires about this. Please, whatever you do, in the eyes of the captain, don't justify your decision. Don't offer. If a captain or a bowler asks you, what was that doing, what was that happening, by all means give the tone of, or the saying of, benefit of the doubt, I wasn't sure. Or if you gave it out, end of story. Don't discuss it. because all you do is make it a little worse, and to be honest, captains don't like it. They use the term justifying. You might call it explaining, but the captains are saying they don't like it. So try and refrain from it. I have no problem over a beer. You want to go down and talk about it, that's fine. I like that interaction. So, but on the ground, don't do it. Captains don't like it. You don't get yourself any points for doing it. LBW. I've left it and left it and left it for our few meetings, but now's the time where I really need to speak about it. There are a number of LBWs just on last Saturday and the Saturday before the captains are saying, yes, it was close, but close doesn't mean it's out. So therefore, we're not given benefit of the doubt. So I ask you to take this on board. If you're 99.9% sure, what's your decision?
Not out.
Not out. You must be 100% confident in your mind, gone through the process, where it pitched, where it impacted, was it going to hit the stumps, and make a decision. Really important. I'm going to be giving out a handout tonight on LBWs. Okay? So it's important that we try and get that component right. LBWs are subjective, but the umpire's in the best position. Stump to stump, what you see. The other thing you've got to take into account that can, for example, a right-hand bowler to a left-hand bat. Really hard for that bowler as he gets really close to the stumps bowling, pitches it in line and makes it straighten a little bit. The ball's moving around, marginally just outside leg, got to be down. A batsman going well forward. We don't know, a ball's only going to move half a millimetre. In that space of 9 to 10 feet, it's going to miss the stumps. So we've got to be given the benefit of the doubt. Really important. So please take that on board. The other thing I want to talk about is our process about how we go about making our decisions. We've got some umpires that will stand there, and I've seen it, and as soon as there's appeal, they're like, no, not out. Anything could be happening, and they're over there wandering in space. Really important to stand and stand by the conviction of your decision. You go on the evidence, what you see and what you hear. What you don't see, what you don't hear. So if you don't see it, you don't hear it, or you do see it, you do hear it, go on the evidence presented to you. I have a philosophy, I'll tell you the way I do it. Every time I take a foot right onto the ground, I'm saying in my mind, no LBWs today, unless the evidence forces me to give it. So make the evidence dictate your decision. Where did it pitch? Where did it impact and hit the batsman? Was it going to hit the stumps? Right arm bowler, left arm bowler, slow bowler, spin bowler, swing bowler, all those factors come into play. How many of you played cricket, umpired cricket, you've seen a ball, just missed the stump, and you go, how the hell did that miss? We've all seen it. That's a real indication about how marginal a ball can be in missing the stumps. So please take that on board. I have no problem if you be hard on LBWs. There's another side, of course. If your mind, you've seen the evidence and you're 100% sure, then give the LBW. Really important. Okay? Please take that on board. It's really important also to stand still, to give your decision and say not out. Players will absorb the confidence from you if you stand there and say not out. If you just shake your head, no confidence in that. It's real easy. It's not hard. It is hard to change. If you're a head shaker, try to just use your voice. Not out. And you say it confidently, the players will accept it. They'll get on with it. Really important. Okay? Teamwork. Now we have a protocol that if you turn up early for your game and your partner's not there, we want you to wait for your partner. Now it's really important we go out together as a team. That person on that day is your support and you're to give them your support the other way. And we work together. Now I have no problem if a club's out there with covers and they're struggling and you want to go out and give them a hand, that's fine. But make sure that you understand that we want to go out together as a team and we want to actually make sure we look after each other, just like the players do. On that day, we're a team. We support one another. Now, I said this in the first meeting and I'll say it again. I spoke to one captain, and I've already spoken to the umpire in question. Please, do not stay after a game, having a beer and bag your mate because he's gone. Yeah, that was a shocker. Yeah, that bloke hit that. Yeah, he should have been giving him out. It's just not acceptable. Don't do it. So I'll be quite serious about it. If I hear that an umpire does that, I'll be speaking to Jim. We'll look at dropping you. It's just not on. No one deserves to be talked about behind their back, and we don't support each other if we're doing that. So please, don't do it. Make sure it doesn't happen. Okay? The last thing I just want to do before I introduce Brendan is, it's really important that if you can stay after the match, stay and have a glass of milk, a cup of tea, a glass of lemonade. Doesn't matter. You don't have to drink beer or wine if you don't want to. But stay around for 10, 15 minutes, have a chat to the players and the captains, because I tell you now, you'll learn a lot about cricket, the game itself, and interaction, and get a lot of information from players and captains just by having a chat after the game. 10 or 15 minutes is not going to hurt you. And we've all got commitments and we've all got out, that's fine, but if you can stay, stay. Don't do like some of us used to do years ago, we'd stay 3 hours. Then get kicked out, Peter White, Gary White, that sort of thing.
Slip out of the bus.
Sorry.
Just clarifying, 3 hours, you mean you want Berg to leave early?
Yeah.
He leaves when the Uber comes.
Yeah. Just the last thing I want to talk about is accreditation. I've already followed up with Cricket Victoria. I've got a list of all the accreditation where it's at. There's a number of umpires now need to be re-accredited, and some other umpires need to get accredited. There's been a change at Cricket Victoria. For those that don't know, Richard Patterson's now gone to Cricket Australia. There's been a new person appointed in Cricket Victoria. So I don't know if that person started or not yet, new umpiring manager, but I'll be talking to that person very soon and getting a handle on the accreditation and what we're going to do with the process. So don't panic about it. I'm on top of it. Just need to work through the process with Cricket Victoria, okay? Which is really important. Okay, we'll keep moving. I want to introduce Brendan McGuiness because, and I asked Brendan to come along for a number of reasons. He played Premier Cricket for 10 years at Paran. Made 192 not out in one innings. We won't tell him which game. He's had 3 seasons at Moorabbin, at Subbies, and now in his 6th season at Oakley, and this season he's the captain. He's a well-revered, great bat, great competitor, loves his cricket, and goes about things in the right way. Can he arc up and get a bit sledgy like the rest of them? Sure he can. But at the end of the day, they're playing to win. It's all about winning, premierships, being the best they can be. And one thing I really like about Brendan is the way he goes about his game. He's well respected, and that's one of the reasons I want him to come along tonight and give us a talk, a bit of an insight of what a captain and a player of that experience and ilk wants and sees in an umpire. So please welcome Brendan McGuiness. My opportunity to put him under the griller. No, okay, all good. Brendan, firstly, thanks very much for coming along and giving us your insight into umpires. As a player, first off, just when you played at Premier Cricket and then at Sub-District, what is it as a player you look for from an umpire? What is it you're looking at?
Well, first of all, thanks for having me along, everyone. It's kind of daunting being in this room. It's more nerve-wracking than a job interview or something like that, I think. Yeah, I don't know who's going to be here now. All right, okay, so I know I'm going to be nicer and
It's Mr. White.
yeah, exactly. No, look, I guess first and foremost, we as players understand that it's very much you're volunteering your time on a weekend to adjudicate a game, and I think we certainly have that element of respect. And in terms of what we're looking for is, I know from an Oakley perspective, when we go out onto the ground, we look to represent our club to the best of our ability and be as professional in the way we go about our game. And I guess that's ideally what we want from the umpires as well. It's not an expectation, but it's the desired outcome. And it goes from the start of the game when you're waiting for your partner and you go out together and you're very formal and very clear in your decision making and your processes. And we certainly respect that. Like we understand you're you're there doing your job for us and sacrificing your time with your family, friends, and others to support us in doing a pursuit that we love. So we're certainly there to meet you halfway. Absolutely.
Great. Now put your captain's hat on.
Mm-hmm.
Do you look at it a little different and a little more seriously, if you like, from a captain's perspective?
Yeah, look, definitely. I'm certainly more critical, I've found, because I guess decisions can impact your bowling decisions, your bowling changes, your fielding decisions, and ultimately obviously it can affect the result, the outcome of the game. So I think this season's been very different for me. And I guess from my point of view. I'll go back half a step. This season is my first season as club captain, officially appointed as club captain. Before that, I've played my previous 5 seasons as a playing coach. So I've just been able to rock up on a Saturday, play as a player, and I don't have to delve into the nitty gritty of everything that goes on behind the scenes. So this year for me has been a lot different in that respect. So I guess that additional responsibility means additional stress and expectation and all that stuff that goes along with having the leadership role. So I guess naturally I become more critical of things that are outside my control because it has such a profound impact on me and the club and the way we're perceived and things like that. So.
Now you field in slips more times than not.
100%. Yep.
So
Sounds about
you're
right.
standing next to the keeper, and so often there'd be a little fake snick. That obviously from the stumps to where you are, more times you're going to hear it or hear a noise. Umpire at the other end, given the bruise might be, gives it not out, doesn't hear it. What's your reaction to that? Do you, as a captain, do you crack it a little bit and say, bloody hell, Benny should have heard that, or do you sort of think, still give him the benefit of the doubt whether it was pretty faint? Does that sort of thought process get through your mind?
Look, being completely honest, no, look, it doesn't cross my mind immediately. I'm here to give you my honest input.
Absolutely.
So, I'm very much a competitive. I'm very, very competitive. I'm very focused and involved in the game. So if I get a stiff decision, or we get a stiff decision and not out, that's it was given not out when he's clearly nicked it, or he's blown his front pad off in front of middle, and we've all gone berserk, and it's the not out treatment. I'm pretty hot under the collar, but I must admit I've probably mellowed out a bit this year because of the added responsibility of being a captain. So for Oakley in particular, we try and set the highest standard on and off the field, and I try to lead by example. So I probably keep it under wraps more so this season than I have in previous seasons. But look, at the end of the day, like I said before, we know that you guys are doing the best job you can. We respect your decision, whether it's good, bad or indifferent.
Do you and the players, when you see an umpire, someone you might know, that's umpired before, do you get confidence out of knowing that umpire the way he's going to umpire? And how do you compare that to seeing an umpire for the first time? Do you look at it and go, this is going to be interesting, never seen this person before? Is there a mindset about it? Is it discussed in the change rooms, any of those sort of things?
Yeah, look, probably not so much in the change rooms, but maybe the inner sanctum. So guys like Ben Pinwell and that, because there's that, and Daniel Junkier who retired last season, but he's played many games. So those kind of guys, we know you well, and we've developed a relationship over many years. Like for me, it's only been half a dozen years, but for guys like Junks and Spike, it's been 15, 20 years, which is fantastic. And I reckon that's one of the best parts of the game, like having those relationships with the umpires. We don't perceive you as the enemy or someone that we just naturally have to dislike or anything like that. Like, we're working on it.